and welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for agents all throughout the country who desire to be top producers in your desired market. We have an online community at topproducersnation.com that you can check out to see what resources and what other coaching and other consulting programs we have in place to help you become, if you're not already, a top producer in your desired market. We, of course, are powered on the local level by our Tampa Bay Real Producers franchise here in the Tampa Bay market, where we bring on the top 500 producing agents in the market to tell their story, dive into what has helped them become a top producer in this local market. And we're supported by our local partners. Those are mortgage lenders, title companies, home inspection franchises, general contractors, about 25 different industries representing about 64 different clients that we have in this local market. And as part of that partner series, we have one of those partners here today on the show, and that is Gil McWilliams, owner of McWilliams & Son. How you doing, Gil?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I'm glad you're here. Gil's been a partner for a little over a year now with Tampa Bay Real Producers, and they specialize, of course, in heating. I guess it's really heating,
AC, electrical, and generator.
Electrical, HVAC industry. Definitely a well-needed thing. I think every top producing agent wants to have at least one quality vendor that they have on their list that they can go to when those needs occur. So we're going to dig in a little bit to your backstory. We'll start there. Did you grow up in Tampa? If not, how did you get yourself here? And eventually, how did you get interested in the industry?
I'm originally from Baltimore, Maryland.
Okay.
My dad had a business up there with a partner, and they were like doing sheet metal work and install like old furnaces and stuff like that. And I kind of grew up working on the sheet metal as a young kid and getting people's lunch.
Okay.
And then over
So
time, I kind of grew up into it. Yeah.
With your hands and working hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then after a period of time back in '81, we moved down to Florida. And then my dad started a company up down here. And then we used to do a lot of commercial refrigeration. So we really didn't do AC. We did all the commercial stuff from like the walk-in coolers, freezers, ice machines. Yep. And then, we didn't want to do AC because, the attics are hot in Florida. So then after that, we started doing residential, and we've been switching from a lot of our commercial stuff. And refrigeration, we don't do too much anymore of that. Okay. And just do more residential AC. Some light commercial, and then we do electrical too now on the residential and commercial side.
So your dad started the company?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was under the same name, same brand, McWilliams?
It was McWilliams, and then we made it McWilliams' Son.
Got it.
When I took over.
You would be the son.
Yep.
That makes a lot of sense.
Nowadays, I'm the son and McWilliams, and I have a son. So
there you go.
Three generations.
I love it. I love the 3-generation story for sure. Is your dad still with us?
Nope, he's not.
He passed away?
Nope.
Okay. And when you kind of took over the company when he passed?
No, I took it over.
You were involved earlier?
Yeah, right after like around I was like 21, 22 years old.
Got it. So this has been something you've grown up with all these years for sure. Did you always kind of know that you wanted to run the business, or that just going to fall on you?
No. You never want to follow in your parents' footsteps. You want to do your own thing.
Sure.
I went in the military and stuff like that in the Air Force, and I was an HVAC mechanic for a short period of time where I did anything electrical, mechanical, hydraulics. So even though I'm doing different things, it's still the same background and still field set.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thanks for your service, by the way. Yeah. How long were you in for?
Not long.
Okay.
6 months. There was no wartime, nothing like that. You could get out if you failed a room inspection or something like that.
Did you travel at all with that, or not really?
Nope.
Okay.
I do now, though.
Yeah, I can imagine. So the company seems like based in this area since the 80s. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, Pasco County.
Okay. And you guys serve all Tampa Bay, even all of Florida, or is this a specific niche?
No, we've been concentrating on like up to like 50 on Hernando County, over to like 41, 75, and then down to like Clearwater area, and then around the North Tampa area. All
right. So you would say like North Pinellas, North Tampa, Pasco County, even into Hernando.
Yeah.
And in that market.
More West Pasco County.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. So over the years, has the business model been mostly a homeowner has a need, AC, it's not working, not producing. So you guys are more on that repair service side, or also involved with new sales, or what's been the kind of the split of the company?
We're mostly a service company. Yep. There's a lot of repair, and we also do installation. So we do the installs, but we don't do a lot of new construction. We kind of just stay with, our little niches like the homeowner, deal directly with them.
Yeah, that makes sense. And so has your relationship with real estate agents always been a part of the business, or is that something that's evolved at all over the years?
Yeah. we've been a community leader out there doing a lot of different things in Pasco County, and I met a lot of realtors, like on the realtor board and all that.
Yep.
And if they said if they had any questions, they always call me, because a lot of times they want to know how old the unit is, or what brand or whatever like that.
Yeah.
If it has warranty. Before your homeowner sells the house, you kind of want to know if there's warranty that's still on the unit. Have their main guy to put it in, do the warranty repair before you sell the house, so it's in tip-top shape.
Yep. So do you find yourself are you working directly also with like the home warranty reps a lot of times, or does that relationship come through the realtor?
In the first year, the warranty is done to whoever installed it. Mm-hmm. After that, depends on their brand. Well, most brands, we can do the warranty right through the manufacturer.
Okay. So you don't even necessarily need to have any contact with the actual home warranty company, the rep or whatever. Okay. No. I gotcha. And so what's kind of some of the common things that you find you're usually working with an agent on? What are some of those common questions that an agent might come to you with, or you've just seen over the years?
Main thing is they want to know, how old it is they have to change it before they sell the house to try to improve the value of the house for resale.
Yeah. Usually related to the AC unit.
And they want to do a kind of a maintenance, make sure it's in a little tip-top shape order before they have the home inspection.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
And electrical side, I normally say get your home inspection done first to see what they have, and then we'll go and fix the repairs.
Okay. And do you work also with like the new homeowners when they first move in? If it's an agent who's represented the buyer and they're bought a house as is, there's probably an issue there with the HC or something, air conditioner or some other issue.
Yeah, we can do that.
You would come in on that side too, of course, if needed. And so that's also where that agent relationship might play a role.
Yeah, so we have the person that's representing the seller, and also the person that represents the buyer.
Sure.
So we go on both ends.
Okay. Is there anything you feel like that now that you've had this, some years of experience with some different things of seeing some common mistakes that agents might have made or not made, or things that they've taken for granted? Does anything kind of resonate at all with you that you think agents should be aware of or to look for?
I think when the agent, has that care, I call it the care thing, when they be proactive on helping their seller get prepared to maximize the sale of the house by eliminate the headaches when you do have a home inspection, or they just stage a house.
Yep.
I think that kind of helps them, get through the process a lot easier. So any potential buyers can walk in and go, it's ready to go.
Yeah.
You don't say, well, we got to wait 2 or 3, 4 weeks before we got to do all these major repairs. And they're buying a house used as is. Now they do all these repairs. So okay, maybe there might be more repairs we don't know about.
Yeah, and you always want to try to make it as seamless as possible if you can. So in your opinion, one of the big ways to make that seamless is just to be looking out for those things in advance. Bring a professional in like yourself to see if there's a way that you can handle some of those problems before it becomes a bigger one later, right?
Yeah. One of the good things is recently the DeSantis passed that rule around July 1st, I think 23. The warranty, because it's real property, because that's why you have to have permits on and all. The real thing is to make sure that the warranty goes with the house, not the homeowner. So many homeowners, like some of these subdivisions were brand new, and the houses were being sold, like in Odessa, like after they own it for a year or 2 year or 3 year. Now you're on your third owner within 5 years.
Yep.
5 year in one day, there's no warranty.
Yep.
And sometimes I see people get good deals on AC units, but it doesn't come with a permit. It doesn't come with that. It's a cash job bought from like an outside company, not a main vendor. So it's not even a name brand that we get parts. And what happens is they have no warranty. We're doing one next week in the Wesley Chapel. We're seeing them today. And they seen a bid we had years ago. And that's the only piece of paperwork they had was our estimate that they never used us. Mm-hmm. So now we're going in there, straightening it out, making sure they have the warranty, they're protected, and we're going to do them a solid. Like their AC starting to fail a little bit, but they're trying to get some funds. Yeah. So we're going to help the lady out because she has some medical needs. So,
and that bid you were talking about, that was for repair at the time. Do you also sell new units if needed or no?
Yeah,
you do.
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any particular brands that you always recommend or are affiliated with, or is there a lot of different options there?
I do a lot of Tempstar equipment now. It's basically a Carrier product. I like that. I think Carrier is like the grandfather out there, and in so much of the market that if you have a shortage of parts, you pretty much are interchangeable. Like it might have a different name on it, but I can just take like a Carrier motor. Yeah, it's almost the same as the Tempstar motor.
Okay,
can't tell the difference on the name tag a lot of times. Except
What's
for
the most
higher
common brand that you find out that's out there the most? Is it Carrier?
Yeah, Carrier.
Carrier is the most common.
On our commercial end, we see a lot of the Train and Carrier, and I do a lot of Train equipment on the commercial side.
Yeah.
But then on some we see like Goodman's out there and stuff like that, Lennox and some York. But some of those manufacturers, that wholesalers, there might be in St. Pete, but they're not in Pasco County. So I like to sell equipment that's local from a main manufacturer, just so we can go ahead and get the parts easier and faster.
And there are some pretty wild differences in terms of like what the standard warranties are that come with these units. Does that vary a lot based on
Most of them all come with a 5-year warranty.
Yeah.
And then when registration is 10-year, even with the rule that was passed, you still have to register the equipment within like sometimes 35 days, 45 days to get the warranty. If you don't, then you only got 5-year warranty. So it doesn't matter if it's a new home or not. It will never have the 10-year because you still have to register it. So what I'm seeing now out with new construction, as soon as they start the system up, the company the vendor that's installing the AC for the builders, they're registering equipment right there and then, which is kind of smart. Now, if you buy a house 2 months after it's been running, your warranty is only 9 years, 10 months, not 10 years from the day you purchase, because they're registering it underneath the builder's name now. So there's no paperwork that you have to take care of.
Interesting. So generally 5 years is pretty standard on the warranty whenever you get a new unit. However, if you register within what period of time usually?
Normally all vendors are different. Some are 30 days, sometimes 45. I've seen 60 before.
Okay. That's a pretty big difference though. I mean, I think most people, I'm sure that's being told to people, but I think most people probably don't take that step, do they?
Well, like in the Stargate area, I see a lot of houses, they'll have 2 systems in a house. I see 2 of the units registered. Maybe the homeowner didn't do it. I mean, you should register your refrigerator, microwave, all your appliances. Yeah. And I see what happens is sometimes it'll be one not registered. So I'll call the warranty department, have them pull it up. And if they already have one piece of equipment with their name on it, I can attach it. And I'm finding these things out sometimes not in the first 5 years because everything has warranty. You're not checking that. Yeah. I'm finding out in the 5th or 5-year one day and on that, hey, you don't have warranty. So I got to call them up and I say, hey, email them a copy of this. And that way you have the warranty and that's done. I can look at it right on my phone too, instantly.
So once you pass that 30 to 45 day window, is there any way to still take advantage of the 10-year, even if you missed that window?
You can call the customer, but sometimes, during COVID, they were a little bit more lenient on that. But now, I don't know. I mean, it's in the paperwork. Yeah. So people hand you paperwork and they said register stuff and everything in the paperwork says, well, you got your paperwork. The manufacturer, it's not their responsibility. It's the people that are selling the units say, hey, register. I try to do that for the homeowner. So all they have to do is basically sign the check, give it the money, and I give them all the paperwork. I do a turnkey. So I register for them and everything
You're
else.
registering it with the manufacturer. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Myself, and I'm keeping a copy and giving them a copy in case they lose their copy. And a lot of times I'll write on the date. I'll put stickers on it. I'll write on the date, date of install, what heat size is, what the makes are. I think a lot of people are starting to do that now. So it's like a little Bible right there on the unit.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And I think for a real estate agent's perspective, it's something important that they should be aware of.
You can walk right up on it and look and see, hey, what SIRA is, the date it was done. And then you automatically know if it was 10 years or not.
Yeah, and it definitely just adds another level of value, right, that you can bring to the table as an agent too, just making sure that your client is taken care of.
Just like the roof. The roof's like, 25-year, and then a lot of times the roofs have another transferable warranty, depends on who they bought from. Yeah. So, I mean, those warranties are heavy weight for a new buyer.
For sure.
They love it.
And so, in your, expert opinion, somebody should have what type of an expectation in terms of how long their AC unit should last?
I always say 8 to 12 years, like on heat pumps, because they normally get a freon leaks and stuff like that because they switch cycles. But a lot of that is due to lack of maintenance, or bad airflow or bad design. And not from the AC equipment, it's from like the installation of it. If you don't have good airflow and stuff like that, these units are going to, when you go into heat mode, it's going to take that unit that's normally cold up in the attic, switch it to heat. And what's going to happen? If you don't have enough airflow, it's going to overheat just like your car would. Mm-hmm. And what happens? Blows a leak.
Yep. And so every 8 to 12 years, and you think the preferred maintenance is what, a check-in every couple of months? Is it what's the normal process?
I would do the filter, once a month to 3 months. Depends on what size filter. If you have like a 4 or 5 inch filter, you get away every 3 to 6 months. If you
when you say service, though, you're talking about having some sort of a service agreement.
A service agreement is come out there once or twice a year just to flush the drain line out, tighten the terminals, check the charge, make sure the caps are still up to par so you don't have a compressor failure. Not to say with Florida being a lightning capital of the world, you're going to have power issues down here anyhow. But if you can prevent some of that stuff, that senseless call on a 4th of July weekend, you're going to pay overtime and all that. You don't want to do that. And we don't want to go out on 4th of July weekend either.
Totally. No, that makes sense. And I think that's a critical component too, is just making sure that there's one of those in place just to check it every, especially like you said, we live in Florida, so it's naturally going to be hot here all the time. We need to have that maintenance thing in place to make sure that it actually works when we want it to.
And with cell phones, you can put little reminders in your calendar to change your filter. But I also recommend date your filter when you put it in there. So you say, I just change it. The guy told me before I walked in here, he says, it said 8/4/24. I go, that's almost a year
ago, huh?
Yeah.
And that should be, you think, every 30 days?
30 days if you got a 1-inch filter, depends on how good it is. And you don't want to use they'll have ratings on the filters, like a MERV, like we say like 7 or 8. The higher the MERV, the tighter the filter, the less it'll breathe. And if you don't have you'll get a static pressure that'll take out these electronic motors, that'll cause them to freeze up. Drains, you always hear a lot of drain issues now, right? Because what happens is the drain runs outside with a trap to help prevent the air from being sucked in like a straw. And if you only have one filter to feed it and it gets dirty or you don't change it, your filter's here, your pan's here, your coil's here, but your drain's on the other side of the coil. So what happens, this will freeze up and it'll suck the air from the drain, which is the straw. Yeah. And next you know, the drain lines get totally either like slimed up or even they start hardening into like a hardened artery.
Yeah, I've been guilty of slacking off on the filter changing. That has not been an every 30-day thing in my house, that's for sure.
Every month do you get an electric bill?
Yes.
And do you always complain about when it's higher during the summer? Yes.
Sure, yeah.
That's a good sign to change your filter, check it at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes sense. But it sounds like, if you go to Lowe's or wherever, you're going to see all these different options when it comes to filters, right?
Oh, yeah.
Is there a particular thing that you recommend or something to look for?
Like a MERV 7 or MERV 8. Okay. That way, at least it'll catch a little bit more dirt, and it'll actually, do its job, but you still got to maintain it.
Okay. What percentage of your business now, Gil, is AC related compared to all the other services you guys provide?
We're probably 65-70% AC.
So it's still a majority of it. Mm-hmm. Okay. And then the other services you also focus on, you mentioned were heating, electrical as well, right?
Yeah, we don't do a lot of heating in Florida.
That makes sense.
You have to be cold for almost a week or 3-4 days in a row where it's cold during the day, not just at night. At nighttime, you're using blankets and all. You're not really seeing that much.
Right. But you also have the electrical side. So is that doing any sort of standard electrical work that a house might need, or is there anything specific?
Well, we see on the home inspection on your side with the realtors, they always have a double tap. Yeah. So what happens is they'll have these old panels where they only have like 16 spots or 20 spots. So what they do is they piggyback another line onto a single pole breaker. Mm-hmm. So you see 2 lines in one hole, and what happens is, it's overloading it. Yeah. So we try to put in like a 40 space breaker panel. Mm-hmm. That way they have extra, and then normally it's like 150 amp or 200 amp. But some of the new codes now are changing too. So if you do need a panel, if you have the old like fuses or the old like Federal Pacific breakers, the insurance companies you can't get insurance. That's another thing too. Like you're selling a house, it's got to be insurable so people get their loan.
Sure.
Now we have to put a main disconnect outside for the fire department so they can shut the power off outside, not coming inside.
Yep.
So the prices of panels used to be like $1,200-$1,500. They're going up to like $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 now.
Are they really?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've always I've had a solar business for a little while where we had usually we have about a $1,200 quote on the breaker panel side, but it sounds like that's different from what you're describing here.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So there's the electrical side, obviously the AC side, all just important stuff that, a lot of times an agent, I think, either doesn't want to take the time to educate themselves potentially on some of this stuff, but it's just knowing these little details sometimes can really make the difference in the level of value that you can bring to the table, right?
Yeah.
When you're an agent. Do you find, Gil, that you guys do anything to, or historically, have you done anything to educate agents in general with presentations? Do you go to their offices at all, or is it just kind of like whoever you're working with, whatever questions they have?
I've done some things to display on and showing people, like we talk about the filters. I showed them the difference of why a home household filter, because the surface area, you can go better filter, don't have to change as much. It does cost more, but does it cost more than you buying a filter every month?
Right.
And if it takes less stress out of the system, I show them a demonstration on how that works. Mm-hmm. And I also tell them how to read basically the numbers sometimes. If they get me a number on the serial number on the units, I can tell them the tonnage and tell them how to read it, stuff like that.
Yep. Yeah, just basic stuff that really you can tell a lot just from knowing what to look for, right?
Yep.
On the label itself. So that makes sense. How historically have you connected with agents in general? Has it been all organic and whoever's kind of been referred to you and that's how you've had your conversations, or have there been other strategies involved?
No, it's just running into them over the years. We've
Right.
been around for so long that our name's pretty known out there, and we're local. So
Totally.
we get back in the community, so we're at a lot of community events.
Mhm.
We see a lot of realtors out there. Plus, I've bought houses in the past too.
Yeah, that makes sense. So people you've used personally and all that kind of stuff as well.
And we do a lot of work for investors and other people that are buying houses. You run into a lot of different people.
And I think you were saying off camera today too that you have 23 employees. Is that right?
They're on 23 to 26, yeah.
So those are people that are mostly in the field, doing appointments, serving homeowners. In general, now that you've had the business for what are we working on? Almost 3 decades, almost 4 decades now, I guess.
COVID was a thing where we had to get the mask and all that.
Yeah.
You just say, 30 years in business, 35 years. And now we say we've been quality service since 1981. It's just easier. It's one thing we changed on our model as far as instead of changing the years on our trucks and all that or our shirts. So it just is quality service.
Yeah. And how has the history of the business been? Has it been just very like up and down? Has it been kind of consistent growth? Has it been pretty maintained, would you say? Or overall, what do you think the story there looks like?
I think it was a roller coaster, a really rocky one in the first 10 to 20 years.
Okay.
Then we had some good growth, and then and when we had the growth, I was covering from Sarasota to Lake and Oviedo to Gainesville, Cal. We were doing a lot of big commercial, like Central Florida.
Yep.
And then I had 44 guys there, and I'm like, that was chaotic.
Yeah, too much. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you started to learn over the years, like what type of business you really wanted to have.
So we shrunk it down.
Yeah.
Half the employees, or less than half, more than half the employees, and then just
and
focus
also shrunk
on
down your service area, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. And when we did that, we were able to give better service. We had the cream of the crop of the guys with us, and then now it just sells itself. We've already been in
when
here
you
a
have
long
a
time.
Job potentially open up outside of your preferred service area, do you usually refer those out?
Sometimes depends on what it is. If it's an existing customer and they really want us to, we do it. Sometimes if I know somebody, I do refer work out to other AC companies all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
Even electrical, because when I covered in Central Florida, ran into obviously you could be a good AC guy, but if you don't know some business, I got caught with that windshield time, and we weren't billing out enough. I don't want to get caught with that again.
Yep.
So that was one of the things, that windshield time was killing us.
Yeah, that makes sense too. Do you still do commercial too?
Yeah.
What percentage of your business is commercial now?
Maybe 3 to 5, maybe 5%.
It's okay. Much lower than it used to be anyway.
Yeah, we used to be 95% because of refrigeration, and we didn't do AC, so it was almost 95% refrigeration.
Yeah, that's
commercial.
a pretty big change then, compared to where you were for sure.
Working on my niche.
Yeah, that's important. Identifying exactly what's the target audience, right?
Even today, I'm always learning. I'm always trying to, find out what's going on in the area. And in this trade, everything's always changing. Like we're getting another new gas, and now they're trying to say that the gas is going to be available. So whatever you have, you got to let it go. So how do we put new systems in with this new gas? And it's like, all right.
Yeah, no, I was going to ask you that too. Is like, since you've been in the game as long as you have, I'm sure you've seen a lot of changes happen over the decades in terms of regulations. What do you think is kind of the biggest factors that go into the change? Is it decisions Washington makes that impact your industry, or is it other consumerism type opinions on certain things? Like what impacts things more?
I feel sometimes they don't do enough research, and when they put you into a position like R22 and R12 back then, they were doing, the ozone, right? So then they switched to the 410 and different dropping gases and all that.
Okay.
And then with the 410, that had a global warming value, right? So now they're going to more like a propane type based gas that doesn't have so I'm like, I wish they just make up their mind so people don't have to keep changing their equipment out. After 10 years, sometimes like the guy we're doing his unit's like 7 years old. He didn't have the warranty. They've already put $1,000 into it, and they're getting ready to try to put another 2 or 3. Like it's just taking, a toll on them.
Yeah.
So what happens is now they're like, all right, I got to put a new system in, new gas if it's available, but I can't. If I have an issue, I won't have gas to fix it either, and then get the warranty.
Yeah, that's annoying for sure. The constant.
And the reason why we're doing it on a 7-year-old system, even if they could spend the $2 or $3 grand to fix the coil, it's back ordered. So it's not even available because they're switching the factories to the newer stuff. So the parts availability.
So a lot of that is like who's making those decisions that are impacting? That's Washington.
I'm sure.
Right.
I don't think it's the manufacturer.
Whatever they're willing to, whatever they want to promote in that.
Well, they're trying to be, more energy efficiency and all that. And a lot of that, some of that energy efficiency.
Emissions, what's supposedly getting off more emissions or less.
And we all love nature. I mean, we don't destroy our own country like that. But what happens is when you do the different energy stuff, like I see like a car has a 350 engine in it, right?
Yeah.
And they used to have like 350 horsepower. And now the same engine only has 280 or something.
Right.
Well, when you get like a 5-ton unit, I've seen like a 5-ton air handler with a 4-ton unit outside with a 3.5-ton compressor. It's energy efficient because it has a smaller compressor or a smaller engine in it. That's why it's less. And they want to do that in Florida because it runs longer to control humidity and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So there's your energy efficiency. Let's put a smaller compressor in there, and now the units are running longer and harder. And they wonder why the units aren't even like we're getting major repairs within the second, third year, sometimes like we did a job the other day and they're on our third compressor because it's undersized from a new build. Not we didn't install it. We're doing the service work on it. And three compressors. She's like, do I buy something new? I go, I don't. They're all gonna have breakdowns.
Yeah, it's not like any of them are designed to last forever. Are there any potential benefits now that you're aware of as far as like you talked about going green, right? And these type of green energy credits that you see the government wanting to constantly pass and stuff that I know people take advantage of for solar and some of the other aspects out there. Are there things like that on the AC units that you think people should be aware of?
They have that for the windows, the solar, all that stuff. Typically, if you design with it, the main thing is airflow. If you design it right, where you have, instead of having one filter to like suck the air down low, I like having all my returns up high. I use a high velocity grill versus a low velocity. And I don't have one vent going to this one and piggyback off both. I have this as a main vent, then I have another main vent off the other 3. So now I'm sucking air from 6 areas on 2 big main lines. There's no static pressure, on that. So now the system runs very smooth, doesn't whistle as much, cools the house more efficient, hotter rises, colder falls. And then
is there like a bigger tax credit at all that people get if they apply for something like that?
If they go with the higher end units, but I don't sell a lot of the higher end units because of parts availability. Just because you have a higher unit doesn't mean you're going to be able to get the part like within a day or 2.
Sure.
Because the parts are more expensive and the supply houses don't have them sometimes.
Right.
Or they have one and because they break, they're already off the shelf. And we're not really stocking them because they're a high end part.
Yep. And when you were mentioning earlier these different brands, Tempster and Carrier and some of the others, product and part wise, is it fairly similar with what they're all offering and bringing to the table, or is there pretty wide differences there between them?
It all has a basic principle. They all have their own little design. Some have extra computer boards in there to control, like with safety, with like little lights on there to let you know where they are, and you have like little codes. But most of them are all. I like to be able to get it into the unit easier from the ground without climbing over into it and trying to lean over on it.
And that's just based on the design element.
Design, yeah.
Okay.
And like the ones that we have, we don't have a cover. I don't like the covers around the units. They protect it if you run into it, but typically with a 4-inch slab or raised up, you're not going to run into a lawnmower anyhow.
Yeah.
But with a cover on it, a lot of the builders or some of the house I've seen, they're right by the garage with a dryer vent, right? What do you think the dryer vent does? It blows lint right on the unit. So now you're not cooling in Florida.
Yep.
And then what happens is I like having no shroud around it just so you can see the coil. So when it rains, it washes it out. And you can see the dirt without trying to look down inside. A lot of people don't see that they have their dryer vent blowing on the whole thing. And I try to move those dryer vents out of the way if I can.
Do you think, and we kind of touched on this before, but is there anything else you feel like an agent specifically should look for or be aware of? Like some of these little details you just brought up, I think it's not something that obviously an agent is going to necessarily know, nor should they necessarily, right? Like that's your profession, it's your expertise, so it makes sense why you have these different details you can bring to the table. So having a professional like you handle a lot of this stuff, I think it's important. But just in general, like if you were trying to help an agent understand how they can add more value to their clients? Is there anything else that comes to mind?
The number one thing I see in the new houses, because they're made more energy efficient with insulation, they have a higher R value. So we're seeing a lot of bacterial growth and stuff where you see the like blackness on the air handler.
Yeah.
And a lot of that, they put that mastic on there. So it goes on like a wet, like plaster, I call it.
Okay.
And when it's on there, it starts turning like when it gets wet, because it goes on wet and it's got to dry, but then it gets wet because the units are not either not sized right or cooling too much or running it too much. Like people are trying to get 68 degrees, 70 degrees on a 95-degree day.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to run and sweat just like a glass of water in your house.
Right.
So what happens is it'll get tan, then brown, then black. And you know what they say? Bacteria growth is what we say. But I typically, when I put those in, I don't use the mastic around the air handle on the top. I use the glue, a nice bunch of tape, and I double tape everything. And so the silver tape, it'll sweat and look like salt rings on your shirt versus having it start turning tan and brown.
So you think as an agent, that's something
you're going to see that right away. And that's number one thing that any buyer's looking for too now, because these houses are tight envelope. Before the air would leak out, now it's don't. They need like fresh air to inside too.
Got it. Cool. Well, I appreciate it. I think there's a lot of detail there that, again, just emphasizes, in my opinion, the importance of having a professional on your team, right? That you can go to take a look at these types of things and really add that extra set of eyes who know what they're looking for in these types of situations, so that your clients aren't going to be bombarded with something.
And if they have my number, they can, a realtor friend of mine, he just sent me the picture of the model. I can tell him what it is. He can send me a picture. What do you think it is? I do a lot of stuff to save on the windshield time and driving. Send me a picture, or whatever, and let me look at it from a distance. I said one shot up close to the name tag and one from like 8-10 feet away, so I can see the whole. How's the air handler in there? Is it in the closet? Is it too tight? Is there room around the work on it?
Yeah.
And the pictures are, it's amazing now with technology.
I might have to send you some pictures of mine. We have an Ameristar unit. I don't know. Do you have an opinion on that?
So Ameristar sounds like American Standard.
Yeah.
And if it looks like it, it'll probably say Tyler Company, or it's like Train. So they're all like, they're sister company, like Train, American Standard, all that. Okay. Same thing like the Carrier, Tempstar, Heil, Comfort Maker.
Yeah.
Ream, Rude, Rather King, their groups. Goodman, Amana, Daikin.
Yeah.
They're all different groups.
Units. We have an upstairs, downstairs unit. The handlers are right next to each other in the house upstairs, but we have the two units side by side outside. We've had a little bit of issue with one of the two a couple different times with it just not working as well as it needs to be or whatever, but we did get them replaced at the same time about 2017. So they're looking about 7 years now, I guess. So
yeah, so you still have hopefully registration done and 3 years left on warranty, right?
Yes
or 2 years left on.
I actually don't even know if we have
registration. So you could right now, you could send me a pic. You have my number. You can take a picture of it, send me the thing, and I can go online
and see if it's registered
and look, or call the manufacturer and see if it's registered.
Yeah.
As long as I have your name and the address, because it's all linked to the address.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
And the name. It's actually linked to the name too.
It would be worth checking into for sure.
That's a freebie.
You mentioned earlier that your son is now in the business with you.
Yep.
Right? Just one?
Just my son, yeah.
One son? How old is he?
He's like almost 35.
Nice. So did he get started with the business like as early as you did?
No.
Okay.
No.
And was that one of those things where he thought he was going to do something else and decided
he was in the Marine Corps, so he did a full tour of Iraq and Afghanistan.
Gotcha.
And then we came back and he went to the AC school, and then he did well in that, and then he did the electrical training, did the marksman, and did well on that. And now he likes electrical, so he's on the electrical side.
Okay. And
then my daughter's in the business, my wife's in the business, my son-in-law.
So it's truly family run.
He's Army. Of course, during COVID, he was stationed, and he's out within 2 years. He was stationed in Romania during that because they couldn't really go out and do anything. And then I also have my wife's uncle. He's in the business with his son, his wife. She runs the office, and his son actually works on the electrical side too.
Oh, wow.
And then I have a lot of friends that I've known for like 20, 30 years that are in the business. So it's a friends and family company, really.
Are you the sole owner, or do you have ownership split up with all these different people? Okay.
Sole owner.
So you are. And would the plan be, or is the plan to have your son take over that one day, or have you thought about those succession
The whole
plans?
family work together as a family and take over and just run it.
Yeah.
Leave the legacy, because it's been here for so long. Might as well just keep going.
Yeah, for sure.
It's hard to rebuild that decades of customer base.
Absolutely, the reputation has been built now, and
we don't have to advertise. It's word of mouth.
Right. No, it's very cool. And your son seems to be on board with that plan. He's in for the long haul.
I hope so. Things always change in everyone's life. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Is he married?
Yep.
Okay. You have grandkids yet?
No.
Not yet. What are these days, hopefully, huh, Gil?
Both my kids are married and they're out the door early and no grandkids.
What do you guys love to do for fun when you just aren't serving people's homes? What keeps you guys busy?
Me, I go on a lot of hikes up in North Carolina.
Do you?
Yeah,
You're a nature guy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. With the family?
Yeah. Sometimes with the family.
Like the Appalachian Trail type stuff?
AT, yeah.
Do you?
Yeah. I
Nice.
did Mount LeConte last July. And then last August, I did Glacier, Montana, up there.
Oh, wow. That must have been pretty.
And then pretty soon I'll be out in Washington out doing some of those parks out there.
The summertime is always a fun time to kind of get away and do some of those hikes, I guess, and up in those states, right?
Yep.
Do you have a favorite area to go to? It's North Carolina?
North Carolina. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah.
It's close. It's a 9-hour drive, but it's,
Close enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. Makes sense. Do you have an RV to be able to take the whole family with you?
We do have an RV. It's a mobile house in case we didn't like the area, but we've been going up to like the Gatlinburg area, Bryson City area.
Sure.
And normally we stay in the Bryson City area because less population, less tourism.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where you see a lot of the waterfalls, a lot of the nature, and all the trails and all that to hike.
Yeah, we take the family up to Gatlinburg. We usually go at least once a year. We love that area as well. It's beautiful.
And we're close to everything. So we go, an hour, 15 hour and a half, you're at Gatlinburg or Pigeon Forge or Asheville or to Tail the Dragon if you ride bikes.
Yep.
And also whitewater kayaking, we do that too. So the whitewater kayaking right there.
Yeah. Have you done the Cades Cove little drive over there?
Yep. Cades Cove, we go there on a Wednesday. It's not open right now, but on the Wednesday, normally during the summertime, they shut the park down from driving and you bring your bikes and you can ride the Cades Cove now.
Oh, that's neat. Yeah. I've done it about 3 or 4 times now with the family. We've always seen a bear every time we've gone through. So on a bike, that might be a totally different experience.
You still see more bears?
Yes.
Sometimes?
I can imagine.
Well, the bear population's been growing up there. And like Cherokee on the other side, almost every night you can go out there as you leave Cherokee to go into, as you're going through the mountains to go right there. Cherokee has elk everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's beautiful really driving through there. The views of just the terrain of the land is one thing, but the live animals are always out and about. And so it is a pretty neat place to visit.
Yeah.
Especially if you're into the nature scene and that's your thing for sure.
Oh.
Couple rapid fire questions, right? For people to get to know you a little bit more.
All right.
Do you have a favorite, say, book or author, maybe a seminar, even a podcast that you feel like has ever helped you personally or professionally in accelerating your growth?
I read a lot of books by like Simon Sinek and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Sugars, those are like business type books. And, I like doing a lot of business books these days. Mm-hmm. So I was always an AC guy, but now as I grow, I'm trying to read more than I ever did in high school. Yeah. And try to learn. So I always pop things up on the YouTubes and stuff like that.
Is there a particular author you mentioned Simon Sinek? Is he one of your favorite authors?
Brad Sugars, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, very cool. I like his stuff too. He has a lot of good YouTube content too.
It can help a lot of business people out, I think, if they listen to a lot of stuff.
Have you ever heard of the Gino Wickman book, Traction? He teaches what's called the EOS operating model for businesses and entrepreneurs like yourself. It's called the Entrepreneurship Operating System. That's what EOS stands for. And it's really just about like structuring a business in a certain way that's going to eventually leverage and free your time up a little bit so that you can actually live the lifestyle that you've worked so hard to create, which a lot of entrepreneurs never get to, obviously.
Brad Sugars has that in his book. It tells you when you start out as an employee, right? And, just don't think you're just an employee. That's the starting base of your training, right? And then you said, well, I want to be like the boss and be self-employed. Well, hopefully you're a good employee, maybe a manager so you can manage people, and then you become self-employed. Next thing you know, then you go to an owner. Now you got to manage people and budget it. And you really don't, until you get past that level to have extra people working, it's hard to get to that entrepreneur level. To, unless you know business, you're just a worker in your own business.
Totally. And that's really how most people stop, honestly, is they want that idea of being a business owner. So they create it thinking they're going to have freedom, right? Yeah. At least a lot of people get on that road and they really just create another job for themselves. And most people never actually get out of that state of having another job.
And not that you want to say no to doing certain things, but sometimes you have to say no and then work and stay the main course on what you're doing. That's why when we started not knowing any more refrigeration and stuff like that, and some of the big commercial, because obviously as I got older, hip replaced, knees replaced, I'm not climbing on the roof or on the attics. I can't even still kneel now. You find yourself, picking the customers that are more accessible and closer in your range to give them a better service. At the same time, you can grow your company faster by not driving in 5 counties.
Totally.
And if you work with collaboration with other AC guys or electricians, I do that with a lot of people, and that's how I do a lot of stuff with the realtors too.
Yep.
Whether I do the job or not, I'll still be there, a voice or a reason you can say, hey, what's this unit? What do you think? And I'll give you my feedback.
Yeah, no, I
for
agree
free.
with you entirely, Gil. We preach here with our Top Producers Nation community the concept of clarifying your USP, right? Unique selling proposition. And there's so many different ways to define that, but each person has to define that for themselves, in my opinion, in order to thrive in whatever they're going to serve. That can be a geographic focus, like you're laying out, or a demographic focus, or whatever it might be, but you can't be trying to serve everybody at all times and expect to do a great job with everybody. It just doesn't really work out with the high.
Only
brands.
one person with so many people. Like when we're doing refrigeration, like, oh, can you fix my refrigerator? Can you fix my toaster?
Yep.
You can buy a toaster for
right.
And then
It'll cost you more for me to come out and fix it.
Because I don't have the part on there. So you have to work. I really have to work on your niche on the stuff.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, then what happens is you're pulling yourself in so many different directions that it's like, it's overwhelming as a business person.
Yeah.
Or just a worker in your own company.
In your industry, I'm curious now that we're talking about growth a little bit in the business. Like, what is there certain people that you know of or that you followed who's like, when they start an AC brand like yourself, their goal is to take it public, where they are looking to scale something on more of a national scale? Or is it more common from my experience, it seems to be more common where it's all just for private brands and they tend to be local, right? As you've said, and there's obviously nothing wrong with that. But I'm curious if you've known people who that's like the approach is to try to go down like that public side and eventually even go public.
I think when we all start out, there was a lot of father and son businesses out there where the kids were going into the same field as their dad. And even if we didn't want to in the beginning, we seem to fall into that. Mm-hmm. And then now that I look back where I didn't want to, I actually love it. I get to help people out, make things work the way they're supposed to work and all that. I have a couple of friends that have excelled their business to a big, maybe not to a platform where they're going to go ahead and sell publicly, like on a national scale.
Sure.
But we were probably, we're never around people that used to have those ideas.
Right.
So we didn't think outside the box.
Right.
You're not thinking outside the box. Now I have one guy, we hooked him up with a business guy to sell the businesses. They hooked up with someone that he's trying to go franchise with one of his businesses, and it's in dumpsters. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
because he's a young guy, he's innovative, and he wants to strive. And
that is one way to scale. It's just sell franchise agreements and be able to reach national that way.
If the kids and the family want to take it to a whole nother level, do whatever, that'll be on them.
Yeah, I get that. And I guess there is some, at least I've seen people in your industry where they're a privately held company, they grow their business, but they still eventually, if they've shown success, they have loyal customers, the numbers look right, all the finances, all that stuff, they might get bought by a bigger company, right? Yeah,
you see a lot of that 10X, they call it.
Yeah.
And what it is you can have one company, but if you buy 100 companies,
right?
You not have 10 employees, you have 1,000 employees. Now
right.
you can sell as a national account, and then you see national accounts by other national accounts. And next thing you know, it's a big
national brand, yeah.
National brand. And that value of the company, you bought this one for $1 million. Then when you have 100, it's worth like, say 10 million. And then as a national account, it's worth 100 million. So there's your 10X.
Yep.
And that's the mindset, thinking outside the box. And then you go, oh, we're, the whole continent. Oh, now we're international. And you can go even bigger and better.
Have you ever had the thought of structuring your business to sell it to one of those bigger brands one day? Or do you think you like keeping it in the family for as long as possible?
I like keeping it in the family.
Yeah.
Maybe it's too much heart, a lot of long customers. I mean, we're a generational company, and we're actually doing work for generational people.
Yeah.
Like I know people's kids that are now having houses,
yeah,
and like
awesome.
they get a house, I try to help them out. Hey, this is what you're going to do. This is what you need. And try to do a little housewarming thing for them,
Yeah, no, I get that. And when you have those ties into the community, I mean, it just becomes almost like extended parts of your family,
yep.
right? When you have that customer connection. So, and you guys have obviously established that over almost 40 years now.
Yeah, they're not just on a number on the invoice. There are people I've had multiple contact with. I see them out in the community and all that. So
Yeah, I love that, and I respect that for sure. So we're going to help put a bow here on the episode as we wrap up here, Gil. It's been great to have you, though,
Okay.
on the show. And I always like to ask what I call our legacy question here towards the end, is to get people thinking a little bit. So, and we've talked a little bit about future and your son's involvement and all that. But when that day does come and you're sitting on that rocking chair and you're thinking back to what you'd want to be most remembered for, what type of legacy do you think would matter most to you that you'd want people to know?
So my dad told me a long time ago, he says, all you have is your word. As long as you keep your word, that's the main thing. Do what's right by people.
Integrity.
Yep.
Amen. I appreciate that. And I think especially in a customer service based business, which you are, with the amount of local clients that you have and the community reputation that you have, that has to speak for itself, because you don't last as long as you do without having some of that in place.
Yeah. Sometimes it's not about the money. It's about taking care of people. When, if things are tough, sometimes it's tough for everybody. If you can help out, you help out.
Absolutely. Well, Gil, it's been, you came highly recommended by multiple agents when we connected initially, and I can understand why. And it's been great to dive into your story a little bit more and learn more. And for people who are watching, if somebody is an agent out there and you feel like, you know what, I need to get, especially if you're an agent who thrives in like Pasco County, northern Tampa, you said northern Pinellas County as well, Hernando County, even there's some overlap there. I would highly recommend connecting with Gil and having a conversation when you have a need. Or I'm sure Gil would be more than welcome to talk to an agent, even if you're not in that market, right? Who might follow our program. But what's the best way for someone to reach out to you guys, Gil?
They can call us at our business number, 727-862-7002. Or they can also look us up on online too. Cool.
Just that's Gil, the website?
Yeah.
You can obviously just Google McWilliams and Son. Facebook page is also there as well. But we'll put a bow on the episode the way we always do, which is a call to action to the audience. So whether you're watching the live stream on Facebook or YouTube, or you're listening in on the 15 plus podcast platforms that we're on, if you don't subscribe, by the way, to the show, click that little button below. That way you'll be notified every time a new episode drops, which is every week here with our process. So you want to make sure you're notified when that happens. And what's one little action step that you can take from our conversation today with Gil that'll just help move things forward for you? As a top producing agent or somebody who wants to be a top producer, it's really important that you have trusted partners, right? Trusted vendors that you can lean on with expertise. You heard today Gil really dig into a few things that showed his expertise about AC units and HVAC in general and electric and everything that he's been doing for almost 40 years in this business. So maybe it's somebody like that you need to have as part of your trusted partner list that you can simply reach out to and have a phone call with, send a picture to with a label and you have questions about, and Gil's somebody who can help you out. So maybe that's the action step, right? Just having a conversation with someone like Gil. Or maybe there's something Gil said that triggered a thought with somebody who you already work with, right? Potentially another professional in this space, but you didn't know that or didn't hear anybody say that, and you need to follow up and have a couple of conversations to figure out whether you're even adding the level of value that you should be adding, right, to your clients. And you heard Gil mention a few different things you can look for as an agent to make sure that you're adding the right level of value. So pick one thing, take action. That's why we do what we do. If you just listen to these shows and then don't do anything about it, you end up wasting your time. But we want to make sure you're taking action and building those habits so that you're doing everything possible to be a top producer in your desired market. We will see you, of course, on the next episode. If you don't already, check us out at topproducersnation.com. You can follow us on all the socials as well, and you'll consistently hear content designed around helping you be a top producer in your desired market. Look for an upcoming weekly webinar series that we're excited to launch, as well as our course and programs and consulting, which all lives at topproducersnation.com. We'll see you on the next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. We'll see you later.